Hello there, my name's Richard from Silent Peak, and today we're having a quick tour guide of ACDSee Professional 2022. So we begin this quick tour on the Manage tab, and here is just basically a way to view your different photos. You can view your photos simply by browsing through your file structure, or you can have your photos saved into various categories and smart categories and simply click on those instead. Now you can manage any photo on its own, or you can manage photos en masse. We can simply assign keywords by writing whatever we want, and we've assigned a keyword to all of those. We can assign any of these photos into any number of categories, and we can also set up smart categories. Smart categories, what they do is that they automatically check your photo for keywords and metadata. And if, for example, you set up a smart category that looks for all photos tagged with bird taken in 2021, that's exactly what it will do. It will show you all photos taken in 2021 that feature photos tagged with bird. What we've also got as well is face recognition. So this takes our sort of photo organization to the next level. And you can see here, here's me sitting in a rather nice car, and it says Richard, which is correct. Now, not only does it identify the face, giving you the option to manually add the name, but if you've done this enough time, it begins to recognize the face and will automatically tag your future photos with that person without you having to intervene. You've also got the option for ACDSee Professional to crawl your archive and add that person's name to those photos as well as in the photos you've already taken. It really is a marvelous tool, and you can augment it with all those other organization properties. So for example, I could create a smart collection that looks for photos of me taken in 2021 with my Nikon 50mm lens. You can really do pretty much whatever you want. Now, moving along, the View tab. Now, I don't usually talk about View tabs, but the one in ACDSee is perhaps one of the best I've ever used. First and foremost, it is silly fast. These are all raw images, and it just flies. There's barely any delay. We can punch in, we can punch out, we can pan, and it is just so fast. But best of all, it tells me an awful lot without me having to do anything. So for instance, I have the histogram right here, so I can immediately determine the exposure is correct. And this magnifying glass here allows me to sort of check the sharpness of my image without having to sort of go in and pan around and potentially miss stuff. It is just far more efficient, and every single photo editing software on the planet should have something just like this. But trust me, they don't. Now, having found an image that we want to edit, we can click into the Develop tab. Now, the Develop tab is to ACDSee what Lightroom is to Adobe. So, in other words, we can come into here, we can adjust exposure a little bit. I'm going to just revert this image back to normal. So we can adjust exposure. We can add some filters, so we can sort of make the sky darker. We can sharpen the image and all of that stuff. Now, as a tool, it's pretty easy to use. For instance, a lot of the adjustments you do to the image yourself. So for example, here we've got our light EQ, and here we can sort of make our adjustments. But it's much easier to sort of take your mouse to a part of the photo you want to adjust, say the dark green, and I can click on that, and if I sort of raise my mouth as I do, it will automatically brighten up those areas in response to how much I'm moving my mouse. Once you get the grips of that, it doesn't matter how good at editing photos you are, you'll find it very easy. Same with color. So for example, I click on saturation here, and I want to make these blues a little bit richer. I can simply click on them, drag my mouse, and sort of find the result that I'm looking for. Going further is the color wheel. So with the color wheel, you can single out particular tones. So let's, for example, signal out the sort of beach here. I could sort of make a finer adjustment and make sure that I'm just getting the selections I want. And then what I can do is just boost the contrast, the brightness, the sharpness, without affecting any other element of the image. It really is a wonderful tool. Other nice features we can do, so much like any other photo editor, you can save the entire sum of all the adjustments you've made to one photo as a preset, and then apply that preset to future photos. But what else I like is the ability to do it to individual adjustments. So for example, with tone curves, let's say that you commonly use an S curve or whatever, we can save that tone curve, just the tone curve, as a preset for a later date. And as you can see, if we click on presets here, I've got one called Richard, and I can click on that and bring that tone curve back in instantly. So the sum of all these presets can make it incredibly fast to work through a large batch of images, which is incredibly important to what I do. Now, ACDSee is a little bit unusual in that it comes with two different photo editors. So the Edit tab is a little bit more traditional and might remind you of the sort of editing platforms you used to see on Photoshop or in GIMP, except it isn't layer-based. So here we've got much of the same functionality you saw in the Develop tab, so we can boost exposure, we can change colors and so forth. But we can also add text, we can watermark our image, we can add a border, we can add a special effect if we like, so if we want to go for a grunge look, and we can adjust the effect of that grunge look, and so forth. Now, it's a nice thing to have. It's, if you want it, you've got it. It's not costing you anything more. However, it has one huge limitation in that we can't apply our adjustments in layers as you can in ACDSee Ultimate. So, for example, if I had put my text on that image first and then applied the grunge look, it would apply the grunge look to the image and the text, while the ability to edit in layers would mean that I'd be able to sort of apply effects to each of them individually. Because of this lack of layers, the sort of creative opportunities with ACDSee Professional via this edit mode are hugely restricted. So whilst it's a nice to have, and you can definitely have some fun here, if you're interested in this kind of editing, I strongly recommend you pay a little bit more money and get this same functionality, plus the ability to apply your adjustments in layers, and buy ACDSee Ultimate instead. Anyway, I hope that was useful. You don't have to take my word on any of this, because you can download ACDSee Professional and try it free for 30 days. No credit card required. But if you have any questions, put them in the comments box. I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. I hope that was useful, and I wish you the very best of days. Goodbye.